Welcome. Good evening to Omnibros live on a Thursday, special edition, not featuring me, featuring, we're not sure what they want to call themselves yet, so I'll just call them the Omnisis group. We've got Maddie, Kristen, and Fariha in the house. Ladies, how are you doing?
Hello. Sorry, I kind of had the YouTube channel unmuted, so it probably got a little bit of an echo there.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to tell you guys that.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay.
It's okay. Technical difficulties. Continue.
Okay, well, I will just be giving the in-stock trades plug, and then I'll be shutting up. So turning the show over to you. So instocktrades.com, where you can get up to 50% off your collected editions this week until midnight, Saturday, July 28th. Extra 3% off. No, it does not stack on your 2%. 3% OmniBros discount. The OmniBros code is Comic Books for Kids, the number 4. Comic Books for Kids, and it doesn't stack. You can use it multiple times, as many times as you want, buy as many books as you want, as often as you want. Feel free to do that. Over $50 in the United States gets you free shipping, fabulous customer service, and fabulous packaging. That's instocktrades.com. And let me see if I can figure out how to mute myself. Yeah, there it is. Bye, guys. Have fun.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, ladies, how are we all doing today?
Doing great. I'm ready for this.
We're all awake, right?
Yeah. I am. So that's what I was telling you before the show began, that in the middle of the show, if you all of a sudden hear me going, just wake me up. Like,
if your books start crashing, I think you'll know.
And especially that happened. Like, just wake me up, you guys. The work has been pretty kick ass for me. So it's like I'm not even here. I don't know. I feel like it's an out of body experience right now. All right. Well, despite that, the show must go on. So here we are, and we have a very special announcement that we're very excited to share with you all. That's probably going to be happening towards the 3/4 of the show, so stay tuned for that. However, we wanted to start with just recent reads and what are all the good things that we have bought. We gave our money away for. So, Kristen, why don't you start us off?
Okay, I'll start with recent reads. As you guys will find out, we all read Hickvengers. So I'm not going to talk about that. But I finally read the last volume of Bone.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
I'm only just now reading it. It's my fiance's favorite of all time. So I was like, I have to read this. I'll say that it was wonderful and everything everyone says about it. The ending spoil, but it didn't really end, and I hate that. There were still open plot points, and it gave me a lot of, hey, but how did it, why didn't it? I had that moment. So, but I still enjoyed it.
Right. So what's the story? Tell me the story about it, because I hear I hear it on a lot of people, especially one of the ladies in the group. She really loves this. So what's the story behind the book?
Well, it's about, I should probably not open volume 9, maybe. Hold on. Here we go. Less spoils. Okay. It's about these little bone creatures. That's what they're called. This guy and his cousins. And they basically end up going on this big adventure. They get lost. They can't find their hometown. And they go on an adventure. A lot of people compare it to like something meets Lord of the Rings. I don't really remember my fiance's pitch, but he had the best pitch. But it's great cartooning by Jeff Smith. It is a fantasy world like Lord of the Rings. It's a big, long saga. And it's so fun and enjoyable and cute. And maybe cute's not the right word, but it is cute. I think a lot of things are cute. So, but it's really fun. It's a big, epic fantasy adventure. It's a good all ages book. You'll have a lot of feelings, and it's definitely worth it. It's even if I didn't love the ending, it's definitely worth it.
Oh, so is it colored? Because the one that you were showing off that has color in it.
Yes, there's a big volume. There's a big volume where you can get all the color in one. It's just really expensive. And then there's a black and white one. I think it was originally in black and white, and then they came out with these color editions, which I prefer because I think the coloring is great in these.
Oh, okay, so
you can get both.
So how much is the coloring edition per volume? There's 9 of them, you're saying?
There's 9 of them. The list price seems to be $10 for each one.
Ooh.
So I got these used super cheap, which you can find them like pretty much anywhere at this point because it's old, you know.
Okay. Yeah, every time there's an exciting news, I'm gonna boost it up with a woo sound. Doing the signature
it helps us all stay awake, right?
Right. This is just for me to stay awake because that's a great thing because I was really interested into getting the colored, the total complete, like the big version. I recently sold off my black and white one, but I was kind of a little bit put off by the price of it. So if this is this is also an available,
it's way more affordable.
Yep, definitely
way more affordable. And because the creatures are white, it's, to me, I would not have enjoyed it as much, I think, if I read it in black and white, because it's all, you know, blended together, and the backgrounds are just incredible, and the details and the color really makes it pop. So I would go with the color editions, but that's all I know.
Is it written and drawn by the same person, right? Jeff Smith, I believe. Okay,
that's right.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, what else?
What else? I have had this on my shelf since 2016, since Comic-Con 2016, so about 2 years now. Never picked it up. This is Plutona.
By Jeff Lemire.
Yes. I'm distracted. Thank you. He just dropped off some comic books I have to show. Anyway. Jeff Lemire wrote it. Emmy Lennox does the art. That's a spoiler. Let me try to show you. There we go. Which I really like.
Nice.
This is like the special hardcover edition. It's a standard size. I would not recommend anyone buying it for a regular price. It is too much money. A friend of mine went to Comic-Con and he got it for me, signed by Emmy, and that's cute. And I do love the art. I love Lemire. Everybody, I think, probably knows that by now. But I will say, I was enjoying it a lot. It's about this group of kids. They live in this town where there's like a villain and a hero. So their hero protects them. One of the kids is like obsessed with her. So one of them gets bullied, and you know, they're kids. I keep hoping there's redeemable qualities to these kids, and they just get worse and worse and worse. Right. And still enjoyed it until the very end, where just kind of like Bone, it didn't end. Except this was even worse because it super didn't end. It's like 5 issues, and I was like, "Where's the rest?"
I hate when that happens.
Yeah,
but but this is gonna be like, you know, I hated it because it super didn't end. That's a cheat.
I mean, truly, because I was really liking it, and then it ended when it didn't end, and I was like, no, like now I hate it. So I wouldn't recommend it. Don't read it.
Okay.
You'll get upset.
Okay, thank you for taking one for the team.
Yeah, right. You know me. Do you want my recent pickups now?
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go for it. Let's do it.
Well, I got quite distracted because my fiance came in. He just got home and he said, "Oh, I have presents for you. You should show them off." So I know this isn't like single issue bros. What would you? Anyway, but the last issue of Descender came out.
Okay.
And I love Descender, so he's like, "Oh, I got you this," and I'm like, "I'm nowhere near the end, but I'll take it because it's pretty."
Nice. So
so I got this.
Now? The series completely ended?
It's ended, and they're going to start a new series called Ascender.
Oh, okay.
So I guess it's the same characters. I really don't know because I haven't read this. So
okay,
we'll
so you descend, then you ascend.
Right. Right.
I'm just telling, like, you know. Okay, great.
That's perfect. And this is the other one he dropped off, which I'm so excited about, you guys. And it's the Scotty Young variant.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm so excited.
All of this. I love them, and I'm so excited to read that. And I'm upset because I'm a trade waiter.
You know,
so I'll have
me
to wait
too,
for this.
but I can't. I have to have this.
But that is
Oh, and
so
you should. I'll definitely go out of my way to buy a nice like variant cover. To
I'm just gonna
hang
hold this
up.
over my face all night because it's too
Okay.
cute.
I know that is it's amazing. I actually recently got the Rogue and Gambit. I think that's the first one, right? Because after that, that's Mr. and Mrs. X.
Yeah. So the Rogue and Gambit was just like a 6-issue only
Right.
Oh yeah, yeah.
series, and it's good. It's nice and short and sweet and to the point. You know,
Right.
it doesn't pretend to be more than it is. It just
Right.
is a little story for them.
Yeah, I like I said, I mean, you know, those who have been to our shows before, I love stories about good-looking people getting it on. So if there's two good-looking people getting it
Yeah.
on, that's I'm sold. I'm sold on that. And you know,
Yeah, they
come on.
did.
And it's not like it doesn't get sexier than Gambit and hotter than Rogue. So yeah. It's amazing. Like I'm really looking forward to it. But oh my god, tomorrow I'm getting that variant cover because it's so
You have
cute.
to.
Like
That's
it's
the thing,
so
like-
cute. I love like Scotty Young's variant covers. They're like
Yes.
so amazing. Like, you know, like all his Captain America has like a buck, like, you know, it's like a gap in his tooth.
Yeah. It's so cute.
And then especially the one that Omar picked for you guys' the Hickman Avengers, like it's like, oh, everyone's wearing black, and then it's like no one sent me the memo. Like it's just like so amazing. I love the one for the Civil War where it's like, so what are we fighting about again? Like that's what Captain America asked, and then Iron Man asked, and Captain America like something to do with taxes, but it includes a lot of paperwork. I'm like, that's exactly what the comic was about. It was about paperwork. Oh my god! Like they fought about because of paperwork. So yeah, I'm definitely picking that one up. You sold me on that. All right, what you got next?
I hate that there's so many single issues here. We actually don't usually get that many, but when there's a Scotty variant or like a #1 of someone we think we may need at some point, and we put things on the wall, you know, you gotta. So, you guys know, especially, you already know about those.
Oh yes, I actually went to meet Rob the other day, and you know he was like, you know, talking about this, like, you know, he was promoting this. So yeah, this is like you finally got it.
Yeah, I picked it up. I haven't read it yet. Have you read it?
No, I have not, because you know I'm kind of if I read it, I'm gonna forget about it. But I did flip through it. The art looks really gorgeous, and the concept actually like it's like the farmer, he actually farms human organs.
Ooh,
right?
I didn't even know that. I was just like, I have to get it because it's him, and I'm excited.
Yeah, but
that makes sense. Awesome.
Yeah, but
There's
look at the yeah, like he's growing human organs that you can go and get the replacement for. I think that's the premise of the book, and
That's awesome.
It's very like, you know, have you read Chew?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember we taled about having read the ending.
Right.
Yeah.
Not having ending. I'm sorry, guys. I have like very limited memory.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
But the thing is, like, yeah. So he was saying that if you liked Chew, this is kind of on the similar theme of like absurdity and science fiction and you know what you call it, jokes and stuff like that. So this is comedy. Sorry, that's the word, comedy. So yeah, this is kind of like, apparently, if you love Chew, you would you would love this. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
And his art is perfect for that.
Right. So, and he's mentioned that the trade will be out in January. So I don't know if it has been solicited yet, but he's like guaranteed, and he's planning on doing this for 25 issues about.
Nice.
Right. So that's like a very good, you know, a good story, I feel. Like 18 to 25 is like a perfect length.
And there's actually like an ending. Yay.
Right.
Yeah, I like endings.
Yeah, endings.
So speaking of Rob, I was at Books A Million the other day, and I love his art, and I love Rocco's Modern Life.
Oh.
And he did a variant cover that is perfect. I love everything about it. I had to have it. And if I ever get to meet him, this is what I want signed.
Right.
It's adorable.
I didn't even know there was a Rocco's Modern Life comic. I mean, not surprised anymore. I feel like every show...
It's great. It is great.
One.
It's really good. It's just like the show. You should check it out. Except it's like modern, which is cool.
Okay.
So there's
I mean,
that.
that's in the title, so.
Yeah. Well, you know, they didn't come back and keep it in the 90s or anything. It's still like, it's like.
Sorry, I'm on my makeup response. This is how tired I am. I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, hey, that was funny.
We're like punny.
Yeah, that was funny. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Still delayed. I love it.
All right. Okay.
Okay. Speaking of series that ended, I Hate Fairyland also just ended, and Jeff Lemire came out with a variant, and I had to have it. So that's what this is.
Nice.
Yeah, I love it.
So have you read it yet? Like the series?
Not yet. No. Well, I read the first like 3 trades.
Oh, okay. How are you liking? Like, what's it like? You know, how are you liking it? I recently got the full like the deluxe edition of it, because it was actually one of my friends went to a con, and it was there was an art by him, and it was signed by Scotty Young, and I think it just looks amazing. I just kind of flipped through it, like, you know, the art and Scotty Young's trademark art and everything. So, but I don't know what the story is about.
It is over the top, zany craziness. I don't even really know how to describe it. You can probably flip through it and just see that.
Yeah,
but it's
right.
wonderful. It's so funny. You'll love the main character. She's an angry person, and it's awesome.
Well,
It's
you
just
know,
awesome.
that's one of the reasons that one of my friend she doesn't read comics, but she's like, I went to like a bookstore with a friend of mine, and there was this one character, and she reminded me kind of you, and she sent me the picture of her. I'm like, I don't have green hair, excuse me.
You'll have like a lot of feelings about that after you read it. You'll be like,
Okay.
wait.
Wait. But anyway, she was like, no, I don't know. It just reminded me of you. So yeah. All right. So okay. So that's the last issue came out this week. Like, it's ended. Done.
Yeah, it's done. Which, speaking of Scotty, since we're talking about it, this was on my wall, but because I met him like a few years ago.
Right.
And I mean, this is great. So I had to have this, and then my fiance actually got.
That's my high school graduation photo.
Is this one?
Yeah, that one.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I wish I actually have it right here with me to show that. That's exactly how it looks.
That's perfect. Well, then you're just like her.
So I must read this now. All right.
You have to.
Okay.
So, and, you know, just if you're curious, this is what a commission of his can look like, because we got one.
Nice. How much is it going for these days?
This was, what year is this? This was 2016, and this was like $100.
Oh, okay.
It could be more now. You know, he just keeps getting popular, I think. So
right. I mean, in Baltimore Comic Con last year, he was there, but they were giving out like numbers and then capped off the line. And then the thing is, like, I was too late, so I couldn't get to see him. But anyway, so yeah, if next year, like, you know, if he comes again, I'll try to get go to him and get a commission or something. I love his art. It just, like, it's so amazing.
It's great.
Right. So do you have like other do you collect all of his variants, or just like here and there?
Not just here and there. Yeah, like Reed and I both love his art, so we're like, okay, if we ever meet him again, you know, we would frame all of those and put them around like the comic room, like we have with like different art in here. You'll see this room one day, but
right.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So anything else?
Just a little bit more. So I was at a local flea market, and the OmniDog himself has told everyone several times that Harley Quinn is the best. I've never read a Harley Quinn comic except except the first issue of Suicide Squad Rebirth, which was terrible, and I think we all know that. So I did not continue after that. But I know that this is supposed to be great, and this was $4 whole. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna get this.
Right.
And I really like Paul Dini's art, so that's helpful. Everybody's probably seen those, but you know.
Oh yeah, that's amazing.
$4, I'll take it.
So okay, yeah, let me know how it is though, because I've been eyeing that for some time now, but it's been sitting on my IST wish list for like since the beginning. So if you like it, let me know.
I will let you know either way.
Okay.
And then, speaking of, this was also there, which is oversized. I think this came out this year.
Ooh, good choice.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to hear it. And this was like $6. So I was like, well, you got like a $25 book for $6. I have to do it. And then there's a fun like under dust jacket photo, which I always love, right?
Oh, nice. So Maddie, what's the story about on this one?
Yeah, tell us. I don't know.
Oh, I haven't read it. I've just heard things about it.
Oh,
sorry.
great.
I know them at the helpful. And I've been meaning to read it because I read a lot of Poison Ivy by herself and a lot of Harley by herself. But so far, I haven't read a lot of them together. I mean,
Looks fun.
snippets and cameos, but not a lot of like really. Although I need to read my my Gotham City Sirens omnibus that I have here on the.
Oh, well, but the thing is, like, if you read the New 52 Harley Quinn, there is like a lot of they're together in it. Like, you know, I don't know whether they are together in that sense, or but there is a lot of Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn, like, you know, issues in that run.
Which I love. I like them together. That makes me really happy.
Right. I think it's implied that they are maybe together, but, you know, like in a relationship. But the thing is, like, they also have like a one shot where it's like Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy, and a Catwoman. They go on a road trip and stuff like that. And her, like, you know, and she's really cool in that. I mean, I didn't used to like Harley Quinn until I met Jess, who has probably muted us and then just doing whatever he is doing. So... Oh, you know, he was the one who kind of got me into, because I was like, I don't know much about Harley Quinn. And he's like, she's awesome. And then it's just the way he said it. I'm like, oh, okay. So then I started thinking that she's awesome too. That's the kind of, you know, power Jess have over people. But, and he's completely oblivious to everything that I'm saying right now.
No one knows it all.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed her comics. And for a long time, I think I kind of felt... victim to the whole, well, she's too much everywhere. Like when something is when the market's oversaturated with a certain character, I tend to be like, well, okay, we'll see. I'm not a big, I'll get to that maybe. I don't care about her. Deadpool, and then I started reading the comics about her, and I was like, I'm wrong. Obviously, I'm wrong. She's great. It isn't cosplay her. It doesn't matter how much in Hot Topic has her stuff on it. I don't care. I love the comics. I think they're great. So
you really should check out Injustice, the Elseworld story in DC.
I need to read it. I play the game a lot.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
So the story began 5 years before the game, and like 5 years before the game. So it's year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it stops. Then there's a Harley's point of view called Injustice Ground Zero for 12 issues. Then they're going to Injustice 2. And so Harley's in it a lot. And then she and Green Arrow kind of has like a buddy adventures together. And then there's some things happen, but she's prominently featured in it. So I highly recommend. It's very entertaining, in terms of like how, as far as an Elsewhere story goes, it's very entertaining.
Yeah, that's good to hear, because I hadn't met anyone who had even talked about Injustice, the books. And I love the games a lot. I love Injustice 2. It is so good. And I don't even like fighting games, but I'll play that one religiously. And I wanted to read the comics too, especially because now they've got like some extra characters in there. They've got like boosters in there. They've got some of the like Teen Titans, like Cassie and Superboy, I think maybe, and a few others. And I was like, oh, man, well, if boosters in it, I'd like to read that.
The Injustice, like the comic book, is non-stop fun. Like it's like there is not a single dull moment, and each year is based on a certain aspect of DC. So it starts with the regular superheroes, then it's the magic is introduced, then the fourth world is introduced, then the gods were introduced in the fourth one, and in fifth one all shit's hit the fan. Like it's just, but the thing is like it's very Elseworld, so the characterization of it in it is not very savory for some of the characters.
I don't mind that. I think a lot of people get too hung up on that sometimes,
but that's the point.
And it stops you from just enjoying it.
Yeah, but that's the point of it, though. It's supposed to be Elseworld. It's supposed to be, you know. So the deluxe version editions are coming out very soon. So I would really highly recommend you ladies pick that up.
Oh, I definitely will. That sounds. Now that I know somebody said it's good, I'm like, all right, fine.
Yeah,
all the holes are good.
I read it within one weekend, and it was amazing to do that. Like, you know, to read the whole series. All right, Kristen. Anything else?
Yeah, just 2 more things. So I found this for half off, and apparently it's out of print, and it's a chunky trade, which I love.
Yeah.
And everyone keeps saying, you know, this is a great run, and
That's on my list. Have you read any Rucka?
You know what? I haven't, and that's why I was like, oh, I like Wolverine a lot, and he's apparently great, so I'm gonna get it because it's half off, and that's
Once
great.
you're done with that, we'll just slide over some Wonder Woman to you.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. I mean, if you haven't read any Greg Rucka story, like, you know, Maddie, go for it. You talk about Wonder Woman. I'm gonna talk about another one by him.
Okay, well, I read the Rucka run of Wonder Woman.
Right.
That's my kind of intro to Wonder Woman because Omar recommended it, and I was so happy. First of all, the art of that whole book is great. Like, I'm such a fan. The story's great. Like, and there's spoilers, I guess, but it's on the cover. But this is what made me want to read it. She eventually there's a big portion of the story where she's blind. She gets blinded, and she still has to be Wonder Woman and fight and do all these things. And she still kicks so much ass, and she's still so awesome. And she balances being just an amazing Amazon warrior, you know, with really caring about people and caring about people individually, almost to a fault, to her own detriment.
Right.
Like, there's a good portion where she kind of has an issue with Batman because Batman's like, you aren't following the law here. And she's like, I'm following my law, and I've got to, and I can't let you get in the way of that. And if you do, then I'm going to have to
kick your butt.
Go all the way with this.
Kick your bad butt.
It's great.
Yeah, and the thing is that there is actually one moment where she's revealed because she has to fight someone, and I just in it, like, I was just thinking about the Wonder Woman movie theme, that, you know, that when the reveal happened, like, it was like, yeah, exactly. So it was really cool. Like, Kristen, get on that.
Got it. Will do.
Yeah, and then Rucka actually also have another book called Whiteout. It's actually set in, like, one of the only books I've read which is set in Antarctica, and it's a police procedural set in Antarctica. But the 2 leads, and like the lady in it is a lady, and she's like one kick-ass, who cares, like, you know, who gives a damn kind of lady that I love that kind of character. And, you know, at one point she tells another lady, is like, you have brass ovaries. And I'm like, this is the only thing I needed in my life. Right. Like, it is like, you know, I didn't know you have some brass ovaries. Like, that's like the highest level of compliment one woman can give to another woman. So yeah, that's really awesome too. So yeah, I would highly recommend.
Nice. I'll have to read both of those.
All right. Okay.
All right, here's my last thing.
Yeah.
I've been so excited. This is not a comic at all. It's sort of related, sort of. Anyway, I've been looking for this. I finally found it on clearance for $5, which is so much cheaper than the regular price. It's big. It's cat dog. Cat on one side, dog on the other side.
Oh my god.
I love everything about it. So this is what I spend my money on.
Hey, no shame, no shame.
No shame with that at all. That's amazing. So it's from the Cat Dog, the TV show?
Yeah, they're like these weird pillow things. They're coming out with like different characters. They're called Cuddlers with a Z.
Okay.
These are regular 25 each. I got 2 so I could display cat and dog, and it's like pillow sized, and it's wonderful.
I want to know if they ever make like a Patrick and SpongeBob one. I'll definitely get that.
They may.
Yeah. But the thing is that in terms of cat dog, when I was a kid, like, cat dog used to give me a lot of nightmares. I didn't understood.
I mean, it's weird, but
yeah,
it's
I didn't understood how it was working. It, like, my little time, like, you know, how are they?
Or the bathroom situation.
don't worry about it. I wasn't even thinking, like, don't worry about it. Like, what's happening over there? That's just, no. That's too much.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So that also might have to do with the thing, like, I used to think that all the cats are ladies and all the dogs are guys. So I never understood how it.
Fred? A cat dog? Is that how it
No, that's not what I was thinking. I didn't know how.
What's this? I don't know.
Where babies come from. I don't know. I didn't know at that time. I know now. I didn't know at that time. But it's like what I'm saying, like, because in my little head, I used to think all the cats are ladies and all the dogs, and then dogs are men. And then so how are they getting together and become cat? Never mind. It's okay. I'm sleepy, you guys.
That's a cute theory. That's your cat dog fan fiction.
Okay, we're gonna get on that fan fiction thing. We need to
we have to dedicate a whole show to that.
Yeah, we have to dedicate a whole show to that.
You can do a reading of it. It'll be good.
Yeah, I'll do that. All right, Maddie, you're up next. Take us through what you have read, what you have bought. How did you spend your money?
All right. Well, it's a little boring for everybody because I am currently on a buying hiatus until I get back from Japan in September. Okay. So I'm going on a 2-week trip to Japan, and so I'm saving up. And part of that is no buying comics until then. So right now, all of my comics, if they're not given to me or if they're not like digital, I'm just reading on subscriptions. So like Marvel Unlimited, which I like, but I wish I didn't have to read all on my phone because I can't get to work as a desktop reader. So great. Right. And Comixology. So I just plowed through Comixology reads and read a bunch of just like, I read that Goldie Lance that Kristen recommended, all the Lumberjanes they had.
Like it?
Loved it. Loved both of them, honestly. Like I've been so into like DC and Marvel stuff for the past like year, like really full force, that I haven't been reading as many just like not connected to a certain main universe sort of comics.
It's a nice like fluffy break.
It's really nice, and I honestly need to make a point of like going back and forth between books, of like reading like a DC or Marvel book and then reading, a Boom Studios or Oni Press or something like that. I really liked them. They both had just a good variety of characters, very diverse, just really fun, just such fun stories, both of them. I'm really happy with those. Besides those, I've been digging into some recommended picks in the Marvel Unlimited app. So I read Unstoppable Wasp, which I was floored by. It was absolutely wonderful. Elektra, which I was really surprised by because I hadn't read anything of that.
Hayden
Vision.
Blackman? Hayden Blackman and Elektra?
Yeah.
How awesome was it?
Just the one you recommended. I loved it. The art was beautiful, and just like the use of color was great, and she was just a really interesting character. And I don't know anything about her other than that really bad movie and then the Netflix show. Right. So I hadn't had much exposure to Elektra as a character. And I'm kind of glad I went into that not having known anything else about the universe that she's usually in and what the stories that surround her. She was really complex, and they really did a good job of having you connect with her, of how like, yes, she's a killer and she goes through all these things, but having like I like that there was the character that she's fighting, like the big bad as it would be, and that story is such like a inverse image of her, in a way, because they're both killers, but then how she feels about her killing is so different from him, where he's like, he relishes in it, and when he like absorbs powers or whatever of other people, other killers, he's like, oh, everything is great, but she just feels nothing. She doesn't like this at all. There's no joy in this. Right. There's nothing fun about her in the way that she does it. And kind of just going to that was just really, I don't know, it was a nice story. It really moved well. I didn't need to know anything about her history really or anything. They lay out just enough for you to follow just fine. And it's nice to be able to pick up something like that. I just loved that her confrontation with Bullseye
in the like, you know, it happened over 2 splash pages. Like, you know, how like it just, I loved that run so much because of like, it's just had this by art. The story was told through art. Like it's pretty much like the entire splash page. There's one splash page that tells you through her entire history. Then there's another splash page that tells you her resolve, that what she's gonna do. Then there's like in the back issues, like, you know, later issues, there's like entire splash stories that splash page that tells like, you know, how she dealt with her thing. Like, and it just like, it's at the same time so gripping and so like, you know, visceral, and it was just a perfect thing. Like, I don't know, like a lot of things about it felt like a real, like a proper women's story, like a woman who have gone through something like that she has would probably dealt with it that way. I don't know, it just felt so real, and I really loved it. Apparently, supposedly, that was the second lowest selling book Marvel had during that time, and it was canceled at 11th issue. And I'm like,
we keep running into that.
Yeah, I'm like, why? Why is
know,
this second best selling?
I don't know, and I wonder if eventually maybe there's going to be some sort of. I'd love to see like some statistics to see what demographic is more likely to buy trades and just trades than to buy issues, and to see how that works. I'm not even sure who I could even talk to, but if that's an interview we could get one day, that would be really fantastic. Just because I'm curious to see like how my money fits into that, and then how I can most effectively spend it to keep the comics that I like, that I'm really impressed by going. Because I'm all for throwing money at something to really support it. Like if I like something, you can have all my money to buy. It's fine.
Right.
But so besides that, I read Vision.
Oh,
the standalone. He has like a family. Oh my God, it was so good. It was so good. And I would have never even thought about reading Vision. And he's cool in the movies. I don't know much about him otherwise, except for, you know, he's with Scarlet Witch. And I think maybe he got with my girl Mantis once or something. But overall, I didn't, you know, he's okay. But that book was fantastic. And not even just because of Vision, but because of the family they built around him. Like, what a really cool, grotesque horror story, basically.
Cool and creepy. Yeah.
Yeah, it was super creepy. And if they made that a movie, they couldn't. It would harm his image, probably. But man, that was so cool.
Or like a Hulu miniseries. How good would that be?
Definitely. For sure.
Right. And the thing is that they're actually coming back. I think the sequel to
I saw that.
Really?
Yes. Yeah, and I think it's going to be written by Chelsea Kane, who wrote Mockingbird.
What? I need to read Mockingbird also. So if anyone, if you guys or anybody in the chat has a recommendation for her, I'd love to.
Oh, that's the Chelsea Kane's. Have you read that?
Okay. No.
Okay, that's where you start. You don't need to ask anyone else about that. Okay, I can tell you. I'm just kidding. No. Please give us more. But the thing is, like Chelsea Kane's Mockingbird, it's also a 12 issue. It collectively made everyone lose their mind. No, it's only 8 issues, and it makes everyone lose their mind. But Jess loves that.
Is that the feminist agenda one?
Right. That's the one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's all I ever knew about her before and stopped Wasp. I was like, oh, she's the blonde girl with the shirt that everyone's mad about. I don't know anything.
Yeah. And once you read it, please let me know if you find out why everyone's mad about it. Please let me know, because this is one of the many, many mysteries in the world. Yeah. The same, like, it's just like, wait. And seriously, I only knew about it because of the outrage.
Yeah.
And I still don't know what it was about. So
I'll see what I find.
Yeah.
Okay, so besides that, I did buy one thing, and I shouldn't have, but it's not a comic, so I'm not breaking my rule, but I was in GameStop because I was looking for more Final Fantasy games. So if everybody's watching, I'm a little slow my comic book reading right now because I've decided to play through all the Final Fantasies. So I'm doing that right now, and I'm on 4. But we were in GameStop, and I found this $50 figure of Gladiator Hulk. He's pretty big. Like, this is my head. He's bigger.
That's awesome.
And I loved Planet Hulk. And I was blown away, and I had no idea I was going to love it so much because I never thought about Hulk before that, and I was floored. And so anything that has like Gladiator Hulk, I am all about. So for $50, this is ridiculous. So I was like, okay, yeah, we're helping.
Is that $50 only?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Is it like
you
heavy
can tell by
too?
the base, no, it's very light. I mean, you can tell it's cheaper material, but if you have this on top of your shelf, I mean,
Right.
all I care about is if a figure looks good and the face looks good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care who made it or the heaviness. That's fine.
Right.
The face is very important to me, and his face looks great. So I'm pleased, and he'll look really good next to whenever I get the omnibus for Bennett Hulk and World War Hulk. So I'm very excited.
Well, I was asking about the weight because I thought maybe you could smack any intruders if you ever had one with it.
Oh gosh, I would never use my figures for that. I would be,
even if they were gonna take them and run away. Like,
I have a lot of cosplay prop weapons that would work. I think so.
Nice.
We'd be okay. And one day we'll do a video where we can show you my collection. Most of it's anime stuff, but I got a lot of other figures and stuff too.
That's perfect. The thing is that there is a follow-up to that bust for the Hulk. For Thor. Like, there's like it comes together.
His face didn't look good, and
Face is important to Batty.
I'm more into the Hulk than Thor, which is really odd. I don't know. I can't explain. Like my love for Marvel men is still slowly building, so I don't have a lot of like connection to a lot of them still yet. So Hulk, I love his story, so I'm gonna buy his stuff.
Yeah, get back to me.
I know you need to teach me.
Yeah. Like I need to introduce you the love for Marvel men. But anyway,
it wasn't until the redesign of Namor. How do you say that's his name?
Namor.
His redesign that came out, they just talked about this week or last week. I was like, okay, now I see it. He looks great. Because before Namor looked like something.
Like, with one eyebrow cocked all the time like this. Like,
no, I don't know. So
and as if like, someone is holding like a shit right underneath his nose. That's what he always looked like. Like, it's like, surface dwellers. It stings around here. Like, ugh. Like, he's
prissy.
And then, so I was telling you ladies, I'm like, Namor is kind of Namor, however you spell it. Like he's like the bad boy you bring over to your house to piss off your parents. Like, you want a rebel, you want to be a rebel and you want to tell your parents, I'm not dating, I'm dating bad boys now. Yeah, that's what you bring. And I'm like, and look, he got wings in his feet. And that's what's up with the wings? But anyway, yeah, we're going to talk more about him in our Hickman Avengers talk.
Yeah, and we may even have time for that. But if we don't, that means a full part 1 and 2 Avengers talk. Because Chris and I have been catching up. So our first, my first big Avengers, my first Avengers anything. Like book, not movie.
Yeah, same. It was the same with. Well, no, I actually read a couple, and then I don't remember anything of it. But this is the one. Anyway, all right. So, anything else?
Besides that, I've just been reading Hickman's Avengers, honestly. So, because I've been a little slow.
Okay.
So it's just Hick Avengers.
All right, we're gonna chat about that. But so on my side, it has been a pretty slow week for me in terms of reading because. On Prime Day, I decided to go ahead and get myself the Blu-ray of the Avatar: The Last Airbender, which
nice.
Right? You guys are supposed to do ooh for it.
Sorry, I'm always worried when I scream too loud and everybody listening is gonna be like, "What the fuck, girl?"
It's like Avatar: The Last Airbender. So I got that. So since I got it, I'm like, I'm gonna watch an episode a day. Just kind of take it easy. I started with the first episode, and then now I'm in the Earth Kingdom. Like I'm just watching that, and I'm actually going back and listening it with the audio commentary, and then watching it without it. So I've been really focusing on that. However, that doesn't mean that I haven't read anything. One of the ones that I have read and I loved, and I told you ladies all about. One of our listeners, Tyler Trent, he's been really hyping this book up. It's Heathen by Natasha Alterici. It's, oh my God,
it's read it.
It's amazing. Like the art in it is just, it's so intense and so cool. Like, just like the coloring and everything. And it's like just a kick-ass lesbian Viking girl who is kicked out of she had to choose between, like her father had to choose between killing her or marrying her off. And then he kind of just, told her to leave, like that. He's like a very feminist father, and so now she decided that she's gonna go and save one of the other Valkyrie called Brynhild, who has been cursed by Odin, the asshole, and then she decided to save her, and then they're gonna go and it ends with them. It ends with a cliffhanger that's like, I'm so excited to read the second volume of, but it's so amazing. Like from the art to the story, like within 4 issues, it's only 4 issues, but within 4 issues, I fell in love with every one of the characters. Like I was like, this is like, I love them. I want to read more about them. So it's amazing.
Did it actually have an ending?
Well, this is only volume 1.
Oh, okay. Good.
Yeah,
good.
This is only volume, and I think issue 5 and 6 are out already. So I was actually trying to see that tomorrow when I go on my hunt for the comic book, if I can get the issues, because I really want to support this. So I want to buy them in every form possible. So yeah, but it's really cool, and I think it's available. It's not totally 42% off as it typically is for IST, but I really recommend everyone to buy this book, show your support for this, because this is really wonderful. And then the other book that I have read, I'm on a Hickman readathon, so I have read all his indie book except for East of West, which I'm keeping for the last. But I've read Secret Warriors, so this is the nice and handy dandy out of print omnibus. Like, look at it, Hedons. Look at it. I got it. Yes.
We're not worthy.
Like, but anyway, it's a spy thriller that unfolds on the page, and it's a Nick Shield. This is Jess's fault because he kept on saying Nick Shield in his review. Like it's Nick
Shield.
It's Nick Fury's story. See, I did see your video, Jess. So this is it's a Nick Fury's story about how he wants to take down Hydra and Leviathan. And there's like twist after twist. You never know what's coming. The only thing I will tell you, ladies, like, if you want to read it in Marvel Unlimited or wherever, that one of the plot point from this was used in Winter Soldier. So I'll leave that up to you to decide which one is it. Like, it's a combination of Brubaker's run and this run that kind of happens in the Winter Soldier story. So, it's got to do with S.H.I.E.L.D., whatever happened in Winter Soldier. It's a direct taking from this storyline. So it was amazing. It was like, nonstop fun, like spy drama that unfolds. A lot of characters shows up, and we're going to talk a little bit more about Hickman and how his story writing style typically is, and it's very Hickman. Like it's all about the plots. Like it's plots and Nick Shield. Damn it, I did it again. But
Nick Shield coming to theaters.
That's his name now. That's just what it is.
Yeah, it's a story of his, his story. So I highly recommend reading that. Don't worry about the omnibus. Looks nice. It has some other additional, a couple of additional issues from the Dark Reign. Which I don't think is in the complete collection, but I really recommend not waiting. The other one that I'm currently reading, speaking of Maddie, you talk about Hulk. It's the She-Hulk by Dan Slott. And I only have 9 more issues to go. It's been a very entertaining run. It's funny. It has a lot of funny, heartfelt moments, and it's very silver edgy. In terms of the dialogues, it's just very I don't know, like I don't know how to explain to it. It's a little campy. I think that's the word for it. The art can be come and go at time, but the thing is that in this they use comic books as law. Like whatever's written in the comic book, they can use that as a precedent in court because She-Hulk, she's Bruce Banner's cousin and she's a lawyer, so she kind of defends superheroes or supervillains, and this is just each story is about each story arc is about an issue or 2 issues, but it's super fun and it's just all about her going around and defending. So I call it like Boston Legal. The show, remember the show Boston Legal? That was like years ago. So it's Boston Legal set in Marvel Universe. Like that's what this is about. Yeah, minus
that trade looks pretty thick too.
Oh, it's a complete collection.
Oh, nice.
Oh, I love the trade.
Yeah.
Ooh, girl. More thick trade.
Do you guys want to talk about thick stuff for some time? And I'm gonna go. Like
just the thick trades, man.
Oh wait,
it's my jam.
Did I show you guys that new figure I got in the last show? Speaking of thick, sorry to interrupt.
Right.
Of Wonder Woman. Did I show you guys?
No.
I don't think so.
Okay, real quick. The biggest haul for my birthday. Oh, also Infinite Crisis Omnibus that I got for my birthday. It was a gift, so I'm not breaking my whole not buying stuff. But I got the most beautiful, the most thick.
I have that. I have that statue.
I've been looking at her first. Every time I would go in the comic book store, I'd like just walk up and like pay my respects before I went to go buy comics. And now she's all mine. It's like, damn.
I know. That's
girl.
Just I bought I got this to kind of complete my set of like Justice League, and oh my god, like as soon as I saw it, I'm like, like it's just like my badass level of my collection just went up by 50 notch.
She's beautiful.
Right.
Anyway, sorry, continue. I just need to. I heard
no, but
thick
and it's perfect that you brought her up. I loved the Dan Slott's She-Hulk, like as I'm reading through it, because it's like a lot to do with law and all that. All I desperately wanted was Greg Rucka's Wonder Woman and Dan Slott's She-Hulk to have like one shot together. Like, just like
that would be so nice. There's so many characters I'd love to hang out.
I mean, it's not just I don't want it to be fan fiction. I want it to be a real thing, because the thing is they the 2 of them will get along so fine, like so well, because Jen Walters is more like carefree but she's very competent when it gets to the court, but she loves to party and stuff like that. And Wonder Woman is like Diana Prince, she's more a little bit like what you call it. I'm just doing this. Like, she's more regal, I guess, in a sense.
No, I agree.
Like, and the thing is, like, the 2 of them, but they're both like into law side of things, but they can get together about international laws and those and get it on. Like, I would just read a when they just discuss. No, I'm not talking about getting on that way. So shut up, you filthy minded people.
That's your fanfic, we know.
No, but
now I know what to Google.
I just want them to sit together and just talk about international laws, like current politics. Like, I would love that.
Yeah, and what does that lead to? Come on.
Pillow fights. Okay,
I want an episode where we like have some drinks and we just kind of just talk about fan fiction ideas for like 2 hours.
Is that every episode we do? What do you mean?
Yeah, but this time with drink. Just a little bit.
But with drinks. And this one, I have to show it because it kind of showed up to my apartment yesterday, and I've been just looking at it all day.
X-Force.
Uncanny X-Force Omnibus that my good friend, now I have to say good friend, I didn't want to, but anyway, my good friend Ryan sent it to me all the way from Wales. After months of abusing him, this is how he decided to repay me. I mean,
you really are showing off.
No, I mean, shut up. I'm showing off. I'm showing this off. I've been looking for this for so long. So it just, the fact that he's like, no, I just sent you a couple of books. And I'm like, oh, you didn't have to. He's like, no, I know I didn't. But, no, I was expecting just, he just sent me a couple of books. That's kind of sweet of him. I was not expecting this. And this is just,
the mighty
like, Yeah, and it's like, he actually wrapped it with like a bro. I don't know what these film things called, but it's amazing. So
It's
now
called fancy.
yeah, it's called fancy. So yeah, so now I have this like fancy ass like out of print omnibus that I have. And in terms of like buying like things that I've recently got, I got another thick trade, you guys.
Yeah.
Astonishing Ant-Man, however you want to pronounce it. I read the first issue of it and I really loved
Yeah,
it.
Jess is reading that right now. He was saying that in the comments.
Oh, there you go. Like, it's amazing. I read the first issue, and then because I wanted to see what's this about, and it's just Scott Lang from the movie. Is that Scott Lang is in here? And the thing is that I just loved this little ants on the spine. Like it's so pretty. So then so I had to get it, and so I'm really looking forward to reading this one. So I think I will have it read pretty soon once I'm done with the She-Hulk. And then these are the two ones that I kind of got as a part of I do this review series for like kick-ass ladies, and the two of these were mentioned multiple times to me. One of them is Beautiful Canvas by Lindsay. I don't know his last is it long? I don't know his last name, but the thing is, like, the book is about Lon Leslie. Is like she's a hit woman hired to kill a small child a few days after discovering her girlfriend is pregnant. So she's a hit woman, and she's lesbian, and I don't know what kind of all kinds of things goes on. And then it's also it's set in a dystopic world, I think, and I think something to do with powers involved. So I haven't read it yet, but it's apparently 4 issues. It's highly recommended. Came highly recommended, so I'm really excited about reading this one.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, and then this other one is Mirror the Mountain. It's the first issue, but it's by the same artist who did Pretty Deadly by Kelly Sue DeDonick. Mm-hmm. So this is her kind of first outing as a writer-artist, and I love like her art in that, so I kind of had to get it. And then it's apparently a little bit magical realism with like little bit surreal storytelling. I love that kind of stuff. So someone recommended me. I kind of picked that up. And the last but not the least, Batman Omnibus by Grant Morrison. Highly coveted run. So I'm kind of excited about digging into it. I had the trades before, but then I saw it for $37 for 50% off, so I had to have it. This is not from ISD. This is from my local comic shop, which had the 50% off sale. So yeah, I recently sold the trades, but I'm now really looking forward to reading this in omnibus format. All right, so that's pretty much all I have. Like, ooh.
Sorry, guys, I got really excited about everything we picked up, so maybe we talked a little bit long on it. Can we? Because I'm well, I shouldn't say impatient. I'm eager. Can we just go ahead and just like make our announcement, please? Because okay. I don't like waiting for things.
All right, go for it. Like, woo!
Okay, guys. So guess what? We are gonna have a weekly show on Sundays.
Woo!
Obviously still here. We didn't stage a coup and then take it over. We threatened and they listened. Some blackmail involved. Don't worry about it. And so now we have our own show on Sunday. So after this, from now on, not this coming Sunday, but next Sunday, we'll be here.
Yeah, and then we're gonna do some exciting different topics. There may be drinks and fan fiction involved in one of them. Maddie has been promised us that she's gonna do a show on different Japanese animation.
There we go.
I don't know what you thought I was gonna say.
Yeah,
I know what you're gonna say.
You can school some stuff.
Yeah, like she knows a lot of different things. Like, Maddie actually speaks Chinese and Japanese. So, she's probably gonna do it in Japanese. We don't know yet.
God, no.
But in one language or other, she's gonna talk about it. And we're also probably going to bring some interesting folks to interview that we're looking we're kind of digging into that a little bit. Kristen will be our brand manager, and she's working on some logos and names and our Instagram, Twitter, all the different social media.
So, guys, we need your help for one, because we are struggling to decide on a name for the show. So Omnisis doesn't really like have a good, I mean, not the best ring too. There's gotta be something. We're trying to like find something better for us. There's a few we've gone through, you know, head, shoulders, omnis, and toes. But that didn't quite work.
We also went through Omni Tits or Omni Boobies, so those are out too. So
don't suggest them.
As much as we love those.
Yeah, like, you know, we all know what they are. We see them every day, so don't need to remind us that we have those. So anyway, something else.
We talked about Omni Bitches, but we didn't think that was quite appropriate as a show name. But you should know that.
So we like it.
We really like it. But
that was my first thought.
Right.
So if you guys have any recommendations, I mean, please drop them in the comments so we can.
Yeah, I currently the forerunners are Omnitoes because I don't know why. It just gave me a lot of laugh. And the other one that Kristen was we talked about was like 3 chick and a comic. So our logo is gonna be 3 chicken reading a comic.
Gabe said to leave out Omni, which I think would help make it a lot easier. Iron Cardinal said Comic Queens.
Ooh.
Gabe said Fangirlz, which I do like. The only issue would be, I mean,
it's pretty generic. That probably exists.
I know. That's what I'm thinking too. Or maybe
I would love something like comic related. You know, like if we could call ourselves A-Force and get away with it. Ooh, Bookshelf Bombshells.
Ooh.
So narrative.
Ooh, it's not bad.
I love that.
See, we
write it down, guys. Write everything down.
I'll put it in my phone.
I mean, someone said OmniBros. That's not happening.
Gabe said girl on comics.
What is it?
Gabe said girl on comics.
Oh, that's no. I mean, that's gonna be trickery because people may not like it because we can't promise we can deliver on it because we live in like different states.
Yeah.
So
I'm writing down Bookshelf Bombshells.
Yeah, that's the only reason it's stopping us from taking that name. So, all right, what else is there?
We got Omnigals, Comic Book Ladies. Let's see. What's else? Man, Bookshelf Bombshells is like getting me. Like speaks to me.
I know, that's
like
speaking
to your heart.
Too.
Yeah, and I love DC Bombshells. So
Jess loves DC Bombshell. I don't know if anyone ever got that from it's probably a new.
I heard that once.
I've never heard that ever. That's
like,
crazy.
I know, right? Like you would never guess that Jess loves DC Bombshells. Like never
Elliot said gender neutral comic book fans.
We're not gender neutrals, believe it or not. A
lot of people like Bombshells, so I think maybe.
All right.
That might be the winner. I love it. I think we could do something really cute with that. We can make shirts.
Shirts.
Great.
Wait, who said that?
I'm going too far. I said shirts. Me.
Oh, okay.
I want shirts, so we can wear them to cons. I can rep us.
Oh,
I know someone who screen prints shirts. Just saying.
We can. Oh my God!
He lives in this house.
You're kidding.
We're definitely getting some shirts on that, and then we might actually let's see how things goes. Once we get the subscription level up, we may actually give some bookshelf bomb. What is it? Bookshelf bombshell.
Yeah,
shirts.
Bookshelf bombshells.
It is a bit mouthful. We're gonna start calling ourselves BBs.
BBs.
Hey, baby. BBs. We're not drunk, by the way. So
I don't know what makes me laugh.
Tune in.
I like it.
Tune in. Okay, that's amazing. Okay, all right. So we'll work on some logos and some social media outlets that we can put over here. where you can come and tell us the different things that you want us to talk about or what you thought of the shows and things like that. We're also going to show off our collections, our hauls, our posts. I don't know. Kristen, you are our brand manager. What are we going to do in these things? How do people, what does people do in social media these days?
Well, you
Get
know,
angry at everything.
everyone likes to see bookshelves. That's the point, right?
Right.
We all like staring at collections and hauls, and we want to know what to buy with the money we don't have. That's sort of the whole point of this whole show, I'm pretty sure. So.
Yeah, honestly, without Omnibroslive, I wouldn't know what I should be buying. So
yeah, exactly.
Right. All right. Okay. So that with that announcement out of the way, Maddie, are you feeling good now? Because you felt like
I feel great.
You're just holding something.
I just need everybody to know so badly.
Now he was eating you up inside.
Yeah.
Right. So Sundays, I mean, you know, who cares about footballs? Who cares about anything else? Come see us, like bookshelf bombshells. I'll get the hang of it, guys, to talk about comic books and, you know, latest and hottest news of the day, any kind of pop culture related. And then, you know, Sundays are now the new prime time. So come on.
That's right.
You guys have to tune in for that. And also the first episode, so the next Sunday, which day is it? August? Whatever.
August 5th, I think.
Everyone owns a calendar. Figure it out what day it is.
It's fine.
Yeah, just figure it out. We might be we'll be giving away a pretty interesting looking statue because just for our first show, and we're gonna think about the logistics. So even if it doesn't happen next show, but in one of the shows it will happen, but it will be announced ahead of time. So please do tune in for that. All right. Okay. So speaking of internet and social media, this is a perfect segue for the next topic that we wanted to discuss. And I would please beg everyone on the thing before ahead of time. I know everyone have opinions and very good. We all do that. We're humans, but please be civil about it when you're discussing, because the show before we talked about our favorite comic book movies, and both Kristen and Maddie, and I'll say I myself included, we love Guardians of the Galaxy. And if you haven't been living under a rock and you know, not associated with pop culture in any way, you would know that James Gunn was fired last weekend. Yeah, it was last weekend. Because some tweets that he have made disgusting. Those are indefensible. They're horrible. We all agree to that. Tweets that came out last that was kind of resurfaced again, and he was fired about that. So I myself have a lot of things to say about it, but I'm just tired about thinking all of this. But I wanted to kind of discuss it a little bit more with you ladies. What's your thought on this? And then have a conversation going.
Yeah. So when we said we were going to talk about this in the chat, I got a little nervous.
Right.
Because there's a lot of ways to talk about it, right? Mm-hmm. And for me, I think the best way to talk about it without getting too heated on every part, you know what I mean?
Maddie? How dare
Why would you say that?
This is not acceptable. How dare you? See,
I made sure to do a lot of research for this, because I was like, okay, I really want to make sure that if we're going to talk about this, right, that I really know what's going on, because it's a hard thing to tackle, because we have this thing where a creator came out with some tweets years ago, like 10 or something, that were pretty awful. But then we also have to take into consideration the amount of time that's happened in between that. And if we consider anything you've said during that time period to be inexcusable, do we think that you're always like that forever? Like there's no growth. And then there's also the fact that he's already apologized for it before. I forget how many years ago.
Right.
But it had already come out, an apology had been made. So on the one hand, there's people change and these happen, you know, and it was a different time for humor, for one, compared to now. Because if he had come out with these tweets right now, I mean, it would have been immediately over. No question. Like, in today's climate, these kind of jokes, they do not fly. But 10 years ago, I can remember a lot of comics that I was into that made a lot of awful jokes, and I wouldn't have even thought of anything of it because of that climate at that time, the humor and everything else.
Right.
And I know that there's some things that I thought were funny. There are things that I said out loud that I would never, ever, ever say now.
Right.
Because I've learned and I've grown, and I believe that as our culture continues to grow, so does our humor, continues to develop and mature. Well, maybe not mature, but it develops. We're always learning things. So it was hard because I was like, I'm not really sure how to approach it, and I'm still not. I'm still flip-flopping on it because I don't agree with any of those, the messages or those tweets. I think those were awful.
Right.
And yeah, so I mean, basically, like, I think my inner turmoil is like part of the whole conversation that's been laid out in our community, right? Because we have to like approach all of our creators this way, not just people in movies, but our comic book creators and stuff. Like, if they say something years ago, should that continue with them? Do we not allow any of our creators for growth and redemption? In the same way that they're in, somebody made like sorry, I'm rambling, but someone made a connection between this instance and what we see in comics too, which I thought was really interesting and not something I'd even thought of. Where a lot of these characters are awful, but have some pretty significant redemption arcs. Right. One of my favorite characters, Roy Harper, has a lot of redemption arcs. It comes back a lot. I don't know. And maybe people in the comments know, and I don't know where I stand on it really, except for I'm still like, okay. I don't know. So what do you guys think?
Yeah, Kristen.
Well, sorry.
No, go for it. I mean, I'm just saying that. What's your thought?
Yeah, I mean, I look at it from a business perspective more than anything, which is if he worked anywhere at all at any company, and even if those tweets were old and they were dug up and it was on your public profile, I mean, I know my job, like I had to sign a thing saying, hey, I can get fired for whatever I put on social media. Yeah. And I don't have an account that's really associated with the company I work for. I'm not sure they would find my Twitter or whatever. But if I put something like that on there and I'm representing that company, I would totally expect to be fired for something crazy like that. I mean, for sure. Anywhere you work, you would get fired for this. So I don't really understand the backlash to that point. Yeah, I know it's old. I know people change, whatever, even though he was 40 at the time. Like,
yeah, and that's
it's
that.
Still
That's that issue part.
It's a business. It's Disney. He talked about kids. Like, I get it. It makes sense to me.
So, but the thing is, like, to that point, one of my thing is, did no one check it before they hired him? Like, he did Romeo and Juliet. Like, most of his things are a little bit risque from what I know. So, okay, before we get into that, like, I wanted to talk about, like, what I'm looking at. So, I'm not into social media. I'm not part of, like, I only have Facebook, and I'm part of the group. Most of my news I get are from the group, pretty much. Or, I listen to a couple of podcasts here and there. If someone said that, oh, they hired this guy, and I'm like, great, let's wait till the movie comes out. I'm going to go and watch the movie. Marvel Cinematic Universe is pretty much since Avatar The Last Airbender ended, like Korra ended, this has become my only source of entertainment. I love this universe. I love 21 movies. I understand every criticism there is about it. I love the movies. I love the characters in it. I love the way that they're growing. So therefore, I had no idea that this, like, James Gunn had said those things before. I don't know. I mean, I don't look. I don't have Twitter. I don't follow Twitter. I don't follow artists.
And most people wouldn't have gone back 6 years to know that, unless someone talked about it. Yeah,
and the thing is, so to me, I felt a little bit like my approach to that was that, oh, great, now you made me love someone, like love someone's work who said those things. But then at the same time, I also remember after Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 came out, the really heartfelt letter that he wrote in Facebook talking about his depression, talking about his relationship with his father. That's a different person. Like, I never thought that reading something like that he wrote all of those tweets in the old like, back in whenever.
Well, at the same time with that, though, if I may, like, that's still the public persona of this person. We don't know if he's the tweet guy. We don't know if he's the, depression guy who says nice things,
Right.
And that's the thing with everything happening in 2018. There are these people who you looked up to all your life, or you thought these certain things about.
God,
Your Bill Cosby, like, just to throw one out there. And then suddenly, oh, that guy was the worst. Like, these people were the worst. And we're finding this out. Like, we think we know these people. We love the art they're making. And then these horrible things happen. And you're like, oh, yeah, bad people exist. Like,
so
we don't really know who this guy is.
But that's true for people that we know in real life, right? Like, you can, like, I mean, I was just thinking that, oh, well, if let's say that I found out that Kristen, like, this is not true, but it's like, oh, Kristen turned out to be very homophobic. I'm like, well, what do you know? Like, I would be shocked about that. And I'm like, what? Like, so.
I would be shocked too.
I know, Kristen would be the most shocked about all of this. Or like, Maddie actually hates animes. Like, or, no, I mean, it's just like, I don't know. Like, it just like.
Or you don't write fan fiction. Like,
or like some ridiculous thing. Like, it's just like the type of sector that I'm in. I'm not in the public sector. Like, I don't work in like if someone in my company says this thing, it won't matter. They don't matter to any one of us. Business will continue. We make product. We make sand. That's what we do. And so I don't understand this whole idea of like company can sue someone for the public. But then again, I understand that these are public. They're public figures, like typically they're images. But at the same time, I was kind of thinking why he was hired in the first place. And if you hired him, why did you decided all this time to fire him? And the thing is, if this was, let's say, Chris Pratt who had said this thing, how do you think, like, what would have happened? Just because he's in the background and now they have 2 movies in the can, they have set the tone for the movie. Now they know that anyone else can come in and then kind of carry it over. Was that an easier decision? I mean, I don't know.
I don't know. It's hard to say because there's other. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say that none of it matters, but we just love to have a conversation. So I wanted to let the people in the chat know about that. But anyway, all right, continue on.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. I guess the more productive thing to talk about would be to talk about how we readers and fans of this kind of media, like how we should respond to some of this. Because, sometimes we have problematic creators or artists or other makers of things, but a lot of times they're not the only person on that crew.
Right.
So luckily, those movies, there are so many wonderful, wonderful people on there. So I wouldn't say I wouldn't say to let this like change how you feel about the movie or the content. And for comic books, like, how do people react when that happens? Do you stop buying the comic, or do you recognize that, most of these books are a collaboration of people, so can't really stop supporting all of them because of one, but it's hard. It's a constant like dialogue we have to have right now, because this stuff comes up and it happens. And you have to be like, how do I consume this media now? What
Robin wants to be part of the conversation.
She's always here. She's always in my way. Robin, I love you, but you're not a part of the show.
Yet.
Yet.
I think it's definitely, like you said, it's definitely easier when it's like a big project or a big movie, or, I see some people in the comments saying Joss Whedon got a pass. Well, I don't think that's true, because I know, like, I'm big deep into the Buffy fandom still to this day, and I have problems with what I've learned about Joss. I know tons of other people do. Yeah, we're still able to love this thing that he made, because all these other people, these other writers, actors, producers, everyone involved made this thing. And thankfully, I don't have to look at his face and be like disgusted by it. So that's a positive to it not being Chris Pratt or something like that. Like, I can still watch those movies and enjoy it, no matter how I may or may not feel about the director,
Right.
Right. I mean, that's the thing though. But at the same time, I know that he wrote those. So I'm just, now I felt like kind of like about like laughing at those jokes. But But at the same time, I don't know, like, there were some people who were like, oh, stop giving Disney money. I'm like, no, I can't do that because Disney owns everything. I'm not gonna not go to the Disney.
They own our souls, really.
Yeah. Like, and the thing is that I'm not gonna not watch Pixar movie. Get the fuck out of here. Like, I'm not gonna go and see Chris Evans's beautiful beard in a Captain America suit. That's not gonna happen. So
nothing's gonna get in the way.
And the thing is, like, here's the thing, like, it's like, oh yeah, just does, like, I don't know, there's like this, I think there's a group of fandom or pop culture. I don't know whether it's because Disney is often associated with girls things, like they are oftentimes this I've seen this happen before a lot, that, oh yeah, stop giving Disney money or stop giving Marvel money. Like, it's very easy to say. I'm like, but you're gonna give Warner Brothers, the DC Comics owner, them money for they're still employing Johnny Depp. There's a whole discussion about that. Oh my God, done, whatever. I don't want to get into that. Then one of their current actor, the same weekend, like, his trailer came out and everyone watched it, while being employed by them, said one of the best part of being part of this show, I'm going to reveal that soon, is that I get to pretend to rape beautiful women. Like that, while they were in a Comic-Con. In a Comic-Con.
No.
In a Comic-Con. You should see.
I did not hear about this.
It came out then last year after he became announced. Then he did a very heartfelt sorry about it, that shouldn't have happened. I shouldn't have said that. You all know who am I talking about. And
no.
Yeah, it's Jason Momoa. He said that in a Comic-Con for Game of Thrones Comic-Con for 2011. He said that it was one of the and you should have seen. That's when you see how Lena Headey becomes Cersei. Like, she went from in a second. Like, that's when you knew that's Cersei. That's Cersei Lannister. Like, it's out there. And the thing is, like, he said sorry about it. And that sorry came about, I think. Now, I can go ahead and speculate, oh yeah, he said sorry because he was becoming Aquaman. I don't know. Maybe Warner Brothers told him, hey, get your shit together and this is not going to fly, or maybe didn't. But the thing is, I am not going to stop watching. Well, I don't know. I mean, I Warner Brothers movies, I don't know. I don't know what to say. But I'm still going to go see that movie. Like, no one said that, oh yeah, I'm not going to watch DC movie. And he did it while being employed for DC, for Warner Brothers, while promoting one of their show in a Comic-Con. And that's when he said it. Like, it's not even, so if we are going to start saying that kind of thing, that, oh, we're going to boycott this whole thing because they employed someone, guess what? You have to eat your words. Then you have to do it for across the board. And then you're going to not watch Warner Brothers movie. You're not going to watch anything Disney makes. Well, what are you going to watch? Sony? Ew. Like, ew. That's the only thing that you have left. Like, your Venom movie. But I'm just saying, like, I don't know, my outrage, like, I had gone through like a similar thing, everything that you ladies have talked about, like, I've gone through everything, but this one thing just got to me so much. And this is one of the things that I wanted to talk about. It's like, oh yeah, Disney knew about it. They hired him. Stop giving Disney.
No, they made the best move they had to do for the moment to get themselves away from it. And even if they knew about it before, it didn't have the backlash it did before.
Right. I mean, those are customers freaking out and potentially not watching your movie. Like, that's a problem.
At the same time, I just don't understand that why no one, do they not have PR? Why no one be like, hey, delete these things or cut this.
I don't know.
Put up a Twitter saying that, hey, look, all the things that I said in this tweet are no longer me. I'm this new person. Follow me in this new Twitter.
That's what I didn't get. Yeah, like, he could have changed Twitters or deleted it. And Disney's a big corporation. There is probably someone who's scouring all the social media. Like, what happened there? Maybe that person's fired too now. I don't know. Maybe they're like, oh, you messed up. Get out of here.
Yeah. You done goof. Get out of here. But I don't know.
Honestly, all these people need to get good. Okay, I've been hiding all my stuff under usernames people don't know forever. Okay,
right.
just like, and nothing offensive.
Different
just
live
like,
journal accounts.
yeah.
I
My
just
old
I
fan
don't,
fiction, or like, I don't know, my Gaia online account. I don't know. What do people
Right.
do now?
I mean, to
Or
me,
Zanga.
like the major takeaway during this weekend, like, was that same weekend that everyone was celebrating that trailer, and the other when they were like, "Oh my God, I'm not gonna watch Disney movies anymore." Get out.
Yeah.
Get out. Like, no, don't
Yeah.
say that. Like, don't say that. Say that I'm not gonna watch James Gunn's movie anymore. You know what? Fine. Like, even though you shouldn't, because there's literally 100,000 million people associated with bringing a movie to life. You're taking away jobs from everyone. I know a friend who one of my friend was like friend's cousin, I think. Someone was the caterer for House of Cards, which used to shoot in Baltimore. So when the whole Kevin Spacey came out, they were actually in a lot of they were kind of thinking, getting a little bit scared, because they had their budget set for that. Oh, we're going to be doing this task. So when that production stopped, they were really kind of scared that what are we going to do, because we kind of booked ourselves for this, and if the production doesn't come off, what's going to happen? Yeah, like one person's action had that consequences, and so people I know people who are hurt like by one big person stuff, and then how it affects it. Like that's one of the. Have you ever seen Breaking Bad? Yeah, so you know how Breaking Bad is like his action brought an entire plane down. Like there was that whole storyline that how it affects one person's action brought an entire plane down. So it just kind of like the similar thing. It's just like, I don't know. Maybe with the books that someone have written, you can avoid that because it's one person's contribution. But I don't know. It just, I'm very conflicted. And I was like, sorry, I got very, very excited, you guys. I'm sorry.
Well, I hate to bring up like every controversy in this topic, but this reminds me of the whole Mickey is owned by Disney, and what's really cool about what they did there is they're going to come back. They're giving those people their jobs, except her, and they're like, hey, we're going to have a new show in the fall. This is going to be about you guys. All you guys get to be employed still, and here's the situation. So hopefully this will have something like that. I know it may not be the same.
Oh, really? The Roseanne's coming back?
It's going to be called The Connors, and it's the rest of the cast except her.
Oh, okay. Well, see, I see my social media. I had no idea, but good for them. Like I was kind of.
Well, I work at a TV station, so that's how I know.
But... Oh, okay, that's right.
Yeah. I had to deal with that in a weird way. So.
Okay, all right, but see, that's
behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, that's a good thing though, because it's like, okay, why are you punishing everyone for that? And yeah, it just. But yeah, the same, like there's also the discussion about how this came about, what was all the things that happened in the background. We're not going to talk about that, but at least I don't want to talk about that. I don't know if you related to it.
We could end the show on a high note and talk about some of the awesome SDCC stuff that came out.
Yeah, let's do that.
Somewhat related.
Because, let's not talk about this, because we initially thought about talking about Hickman Avengers, but that's going to take like entire 8-hour episode probably, because my love for stuff is like my mother, my parents, not my mother. I love my father too. My parents, my sisters, then Chris Evans. And Hickman's Avengers. Like, this is like how like, my love rating is.
This book's in your family.
Yeah. And this,
I'd say we dedicate next.
Jess is after, like, between Chris and Hickman's Avengers, there's Jess. Yeah.
Aww.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. Yes. And then now I am contractually obligated to see Ryan someone. Oh, and then you guys as well. Oh my God, you know what? I said that. But, Hickman's Avengers up there. Just all I'm saying. But so we're going to take time to discuss it. And, so we're going to do it another time. So let's talk about SDCC thing. Before we do that, though, Maddie, you had wanted to say something about Titans, the trailer.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So
I'm throwing you under the bus there.
Titans collector. I was not impressed by the trailer, I have to say.
Uh-huh.
And however they want to do the characterization, even though I don't agree with it, I know some people, when they saw Robin's moment, were like, well, listen, he's like been trained as a weapon. He's real mad about it. And I'm like, okay, well, fine. You know, I don't agree with that characterization of him. That's not how I see him at all. Like, to me, Dick Grayson's like white bread with like a kick. You know what I mean? Like, he's still kind of wholesome even if he's doing the rest of his thing. He's still
very
kind
good
of,
looking, though.
yeah.
That's his thing.
I wasn't blown
That's
away.
the only thing I know him as.
And the thing I'm most upset about, because obviously a lot of these characters, this isn't their final outfit.
Right.
And a lot of people are upset because they're seeing them in this characterization. They're like, okay, Starfire doesn't look right. Raven doesn't look right. Beast Boy doesn't look right. And then people respond like, oh, this isn't their real outfit. This is just temporary till they get their real ones. And so we don't even know what they're supposed to look like yet.
Right.
Which to me was a bad PR move because people have been mad about this for months, ever since the leaked pictures came out.
Right.
And this show is supposed to come out in the fall, right? And we have only seen the complete outfits of Hawk, Dove, and Robin, which all look fantastic.
Right.
But we haven't seen anybody else. Like, you're supposed to give us a whole show
Right.
a few months from now, and you don't even have a promotional picture of how anyone looks at all. Like, that just seems a little weird to me. And there's a lot of issues with the trailer, and I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt.
Right.
You know, I'm excited to see it, although I feel like if you're going to make a show for the general audience, I can understand some of these choices because you're trying to attract some new viewers. But this is going straight to the streaming service. Wouldn't you want to appeal much more so to your comic book fans? Not that I expect it to be the same.
Right.
It should not be the same thing, but it should at least somewhat maybe look like the same thing a little bit, you know? I don't know. I'm not happy with it right now. It left a bad taste in my mouth, and I want to like it, and so I'm going to give it a chance, of course. 3 episodes. We'll give it a chance, but...
So our good friend Jess here, he says this like very radical thing about, I'm going to wait to pass my judgment until I see it or read it. It's a very radical idea. Not a lot of people know how that works. So I'm going to kind of follow that route. Just kind of be like, because the people were freaking out about it. I'm like, what happened?
Oh, yeah. Well, people got too mad about it. Oh my gosh. The fans, like, so a thing doesn't work for you or you don't like it. I know, it sucks. I wish all comics were written just for me, but guess what? We're all different, and it sucks, and we don't make all the choices. We don't have the money.
Right.
That's just how it goes. Maybe we could just wait, and maybe we could just not try to threaten to murder somebody over it. Can we just like not threaten to murder people over it?
Maybe we could all never do that. Yeah.
Can we not harass the people in
too
this?
far.
It's not the like actress's fault for Starfire that they haven't gotten their shit together and released a real full outfit of her. That's not her fault. She's just a person in it. Yeah. Lay off her. Be mad at DC.
Right.
It's like the whole Tom King thing. Just like, oh, we'll get into that.
More controversy.
Yeah.
That's your origin story, though. That's your
my villain origin story.
Your villain, yeah.
Yeah. Let's get mad at the people that are making the bad marketing decisions.
Right.
And this is just another bad marketing decision, is what Titans is. So we'll just see. We'll see. But you know what was great though?
Right.
Shazam.
Right.
Oh my!
I'm actually
God.
excited for a DC movie. This doesn't happen to me.
Shazam.
They looked really good.
Doesn't happen for me either. So, so the thing is, like, I am not such a big fan of it, but looking at the trailer, I'm kind of like, I'm excited. Like, you know, I want to see what's up.
It looks fun.
Yeah, especially like the thing that they added about Nokia S7, or like whichever, or like Samsung S7, whichever one, like was just bursting because he overcharged it. That was like a very nice touch. That is like, look at that. And then just Zachary Levi, like he was. The whole point is like he still remembers he's a kid though, right? When he becoes a jam.
Oh yeah, he just gets the body of a big man.
Okay,
Fit guy.
And he's got powers, but it's more like
yes.
It's more magic related, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, viewers, please, because I'm not completely versed in Shazam outside of like watching him in movies. I know that he's a kid, and then he's you know.
I knew nothing before
These
this
adults.
trailer. I mean, the reason like I'm actually excited about this is because DC, I feel like every movie they come out with is the brooding movie. Like, oh, everything's dark and it's upsetting and you're going to cry probably. And I'm like, okay. But this one I laughed and I was like, oh, wow. Like, this is different. I like this.
Yeah, maybe they're learning. You guys, we might have a chance.
Kristen,
Actually, sucking my hopes up, though.
Kristen, you're solely responsible for ruining everyone's life and pop culture consumption by wanting happy movies. Like it's your fault. Like you want happy. How dare you be happy about happy movies? Like how dare?
I mean,
you?
I don't always have to be happy, but geez, sometimes I haven't seen half the probably new DC movies because I'm like, I'm just gonna be upset the whole time. Do I care this much?
Have you watched Wonder Woman though? Wonder Woman was very happy.
Well, I gotta go.
Oh my god!
I haven't.
Wait, okay,
you haven't seen it.
I know, I haven't.
Kristen, okay, listen.
I'm sorry.
I know we're doing a show here. Sorry, guys, we gotta have a one-on-one.
I gotta go watch it right now.
I live very close to you, like, I don't know, 2.5 hours. Just
didn't
come over
come
for the
and pick it
weekend.
Okay.
I have the Blu-ray.
And you're gonna make me watch it like 4 times.
My life, Kristen. Okay, please, please watch
Love
it.
it. We'll do that.
Yeah, please do. Because it was a right balance, I thought. I mean, it was happy. It was like it had the inspiration which heroes should do, and it still managed to make it sound interesting without uttering the word Martha in it. So
Yeah.
you know, I thought that was very, very high class stuff. So, all right. So yeah. So Shazam. Shazam. By the time the movie's here, I will know how to pronounce that name. But anyway, yeah. I mean, I personally don't care for little kids. I can't stand little kids. So I try to stay away from little kid stuff. So that's one of the reasons. Like, I never thought him very interesting. But after seeing the trailer, I'm like, oh, this kid might change my mind about kids. Like,
he's really sweet. Honestly, there's some really good Shazam stories. I mean, I've only read a couple, but there's like a good one shot of him and Superman that I'd love for you.
Oh, that's sweet. Okay,
yeah.
All right, yeah. So that's the thing. Like, I'm keeping an open mind. See, keeping an open mind and saying that, oh, it wasn't for me, but hey, it's exciting. I should give it a chance. Come on, it's a very. But you know, we're going to preach this in our show, like this whole open mind business, and then you know the philosophy of Jess Bragg the Great.
Yeah,
peace and love,
peace and love, and then watching something. Just not get all excited. Let's not go from zero to Fariha just because you saw a trailer. You know, it's not.
Well,
it's
and we
okay.
can also apparently talk about really controversial things and not yell at each other. And that's pretty
exactly.
Yeah, everyone did great. Honestly, everyone in the comments was also great.
Good.
I'm really proud of all of us.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for keeping it like, you know, okay, like keeping it civil.
We're all saying around here, it's wonderful.
No, don't overpromise, Kristen.
Oh yeah.
Speak for yourself. Yeah, and then the next one that came out was Aquaman.
It looked good.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
I mean, it's
all right.
Someone mentioned it's Wakanda underwater, but you know.
Oh yeah, have you seen the comparison trailer between the two of them, where it's like shot for shot, kind of.
Right.
And you know I'm just gonna keep letting DC get at me. I'm gonna keep watching the movies, even if maybe they're gonna be bad, and I'll just be upset about it.
Right.
It's fine.
And
they'll have all your money.
Yeah.
And it's an origin story though, because people are like, "Oh my god, it's another." This is my Chad voice, by the way, in case you.
Chad voice.
Yeah, this is my Chad voice. Like, oh my god, all origin stories feels the same. Yeah, it's all origin story. People get zapped. They got superpower. They decided, hey, I'm gonna be a superhero. Origin story.
Yeah, and someone's mom dies always.
Yeah, someone's always gonna be. There's gonna be a villain that's like, oh, I'm the villain. And then you're like, bow, bow. And then it's like, yay, he's a hero after all. It was always within him or her. Yay. We don't see a lot of hers, but, you know, hims. Like, great. Good for you. All right. And at some point, someone's like, you know, their parents died or something. I don't know. Because apparently, always something against having parents. You know, that's why we now none of us became superhero, probably.
I can say that from the
Really
trailer, all the villains look pretty spot on. Like the promotional pictures for Aquaman's, like
Right.
Black Manta, Ocean Master, they all looked pretty accurate. And I think for we've had some moments in movies where our villains don't look like they're supposed to.
Right.
And they really did. It seemed like a really good job. So I'm excited about that. And if they have a shark come up and eat Black Manta, then I'll be sold. That's all it takes. Because that scene in the movie or the animated movie is very good.
Oh, okay. All right. I was like, is it in the trailer? I'm like, that's
No, it's in the animated movie. And looks like this might mirror his like origin story that they told in New 52 and in the DC movie Justice League Throne of Atlantis, kind of.
Okay.
So I'm hoping for something similar to that. But before my cat walked over here, I was like,
Like, okay. All right, yeah, I'm kind of like, well, Aquaman is one of those another character that I'm excited. I'm interested into knowing more about him and then his lore and stuff. From what I've seen, I kind of know of him more from the Flashpoint storyline, which is kind of odd place to know about him because it's an alternate version. But anyway, so I'm kind of looking forward to some good omnibuses coming out after the movie and then picking that up and I know that will make our good friend Gio very happy. So he's an Aquaman fan, in case anyone don't know. I mean, it's probably new information, but he loves Aquaman, and I would also learn how to say Aquaman properly by the time movie comes out. So that's a problem.
that's fine either way. It's
Yeah. So another thing that I was kind of thinking. Hi, Robin. She's our.
Hi guys, look, this is my cat. This is Neko Robin. She's great. Also, she's always in
our fourth bombshell.
I have two in the other room. So.
Yeah, and then Kristen has two. So who is our fifth and sixth? So yeah, so it's like we're ladies with
all
cats.
girls, so it works.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's right. I'm actually thinking about getting a dog at some point, but I haven't figured it out yet. But
Get a girl dog.
I don't know why I looked around my apartment as if the dog will just show up miracle as I said that. But anyway, yeah. But then Marvel wasn't present in MCU wasn't present in SGCC, but I do know that they have created a hug booth so that to counsel traumatized fans of MCU. They apparently sat there and talked about all the good things that came out of it, and it was like a counseling session. So that was kind of fun. But I do know that there's a lot of comic related things came about because the same with the Vision, then Unstoppable Wasp, that was from before. I think Shuri miniseries. I don't know whether that was kind of announced around the same time. But otherwise, I don't know anything else kind of interesting. I feel like this Comic-Con was not a lot came out that I heard.
I didn't see much because Marvel didn't really have a presence there, and I wasn't really seeing a lot of other information coming out. So, I mean, there's only really a few big trailers. There's that Unbreakable.
I was going to say, did you guys see the
sequel.
Glass trailer?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That looks awesome.
Glass.
That looks really good. There's been some figure announcements that looked really good and are good for my wallet. The Tweeterhead, which I have they're making a Donna Troy figure that I pre-ordered, and I know that Jess has some Tweeterhead figures too. They're releasing a classic Starfire, from the new Teen Titans. George Perez, is that George Perez? Or no, Mark. Yeah, Mark Wolfman, George Perez, that type of Starfire with the big curly hair.
Oh,
they're making a really nice figure of her, and that's pretty exciting.
Okay.
But as far as other news, I haven't heard much. Someone in the comments is mentioning the new DC Collected Edition announcements. I don't know if that happened at SDCC or just happened around that. The Absolute Batman, Black Mirror, Death of Superman Omnibus reprint, and a few other things. I know Wonder Woman New 52 is getting reprinted into an omnibus. That's a big deal.
Oh yeah, that's I have the trades, so I don't know if I want to stick to that, or I'll see how it looks when it comes out.
Yeah, because I was gonna get those the absolutes.
Oh,
There's two of them. But since they're doing an omnibus, I might as well. I think I'll just wait and pick that up and then sell the trades.
Because I really hope that they do Rocka's omnibus around that time, so then I can have Paris, Rocka's, and then also Gail Simon did a Wonder Woman run, and that's kind of superbly out of print right now.
Oh yeah, I've got one of the books, and I just got really lucky.
Okay.
So yeah, I really hope we get more of those because we're getting a lot of Wonder Woman omnibus releases, and I'm really excited about that. I could just it would be nice to have some of the, like Gail Simone would be great, and the Rucka collection is collected in trades now,
right?
Because they've released some of those. But yeah, that'd be nice just to have all together. And then the art's beautiful. What's the holdup?
Right. So yeah, so I think I'm gonna stick to the trades for the time being, like just to, and G. Willow Wilson is taking up Wonder Woman, like so that's a huge
awesome.
Yeah, that's a huge news. Have you ladies read Miss Marvel?
Miss Marvel's awesome. I'm not caught up, but I love what I've
read. Right. Yeah, I'm yet to read the last oversized hardcover. So I'm caught up to like Civil War II storyline. So whatever that's what ended. So I love, like I talked about it before. I love Miss Marvel. So I'm kind of excited to see G. Willow Wilson kind of go into other things. I think I read some of her previous stuff. I think at that time she was younger, her talent probably haven't matured and it wasn't as good as it should be. Like it's a great premise, but the execution was often a little wonky, except for Cairo. Cairo was one of the a really unique fairy tale story that was amazing. But her other story, Air, was kind of didn't go anywhere. But oh well. So anything else that we want to discuss?
Real quick before we end, because we're getting about that time. We didn't even mention that Marvel Rising cartoon that we all got excited about.
Yes.
Oh, it looks so good.
So Squirrel Girl, Miss Marvel, Quake. Who's that guy? Spider-Gwen's in it. But there's one guy, the Patriot. That's not his name. That looks great. I don't have access to Disney XD, so I'm not sure if that's a thing I can watch on Hulu or if I need to buy the season on Prime, so I can watch it as it comes out. But that looks really good. I'm really excited.
And it's a little bit child. I think it's geared towards children, which is a unbelievable concept that cartoons for children. It has I was outraged. Oh my god, you made cartoons for kids? What?
You're kidding.
You made it brightly colored and kids.
Not everything's for adults. What?
Oh my god.
And honestly, I think it'll probably appeal at a wide range. So I'm pretty pumped because I watch a lot of kids shows on the regular, like Steven Universe.
Right.
So and it appealed to me. And I think this will too. I'm so excited, which means more merch too. Because if this gets big, this means a lot more merch.
And the thing is, oftentimes, I'm looking forward to the day that because there was, and this is something that we can discuss another time. But people are like, oh yeah, the Black Widow movie. I'm like, why? I don't think we need a Black Widow movie. We need introduction of these. Marvel has so many kick-ass ladies in their lore. We need to introduce them. And I think if you get with the cartoon first, get people to a little bit introduced to these younger characters and then start bringing them over slowly into Marvel MCU, that would be amazing. And especially with Captain Marvel, that really opens the door for Miss Marvel because that's her, I am just so waiting that, well, no, Captain Marvel is set in 90s, so that's not going to work. But
she's gonna come to the, she'll catch it.
She'll catch up. She'll catch up. But the thing is, no, I'm just saying that if it was set in real current time, if they kind of introduce the idea of Kamala Khan, a Pakistani girl, that just got excited. The same way, how there was the Miles Morales reference in Spider-Man Homecoming.
Which I'm still mad about.
Yeah. Which you're still mad about.
Because I want him in. I want him in there. I've wanted him in there since Spider-Man was announced, and luckily I love Tom Holland, so I am over the moon happy about all this. He's great.
Right.
But I wanted Miles so bad, and I was just like, how dare you reference him and not give it? Are you kidding me?
They may someday.
It's gonna be there. It's probably gonna be coming back or something. But anyway,
it's very likely.
Yeah, so that's coming out in August 13th. So I'm really excited about that. The other thing that I'm really excited about, Castlevania, is the season 2 is coming back. Like in October. I'm so excited. Kristen, get on with it.
I know, I need to watch it.
It's only like, what, 4 episodes?
Oh, I can do that.
Like there is like one line in it that's like, and it's Warren Ellis. I love Warren Ellis because we're going to talk about more about it when we discuss Hickman Adventures, because there's a connection to Ellis that I want to discuss. But I love Warren Ellis because not just the way he kind of sets up like the plots and the characters and stuff. Everyone is so cool in his world. Like it's amazing. So, and there's this one line that's like, after, like, I love that line. It's just like, we're, in the end of the day, we're all slaves to our family's wishes. Like, you have no idea how much that line meant to, like, you know, connected with me. So I love that series, and it's coming back for season 2. So woo! But yeah, so anyway, there's a lot of things we just talked about all of a sudden in the last couple of last 20 minutes.
Time.
Right.
So I guess we can do our sound off, guys. You can see us next Sunday, and I guess we'll talk about the name and get it down, but I think Bookshelf Bombshells might be the winner.
Oh, it's totally the
just
winner.
thanks everybody.
Right.
Everybody that supported this, like, you guys are really awesome. Just thank you so much for tuning in, and this is like the highlight of my week. I've been so excited. So thanks. I hope you guys keep tuning in.
Please do. And the thing is, like, for the first one, we're going to discuss amongst ourselves how we're going to handle this. But in the first episode, there may be a giveaway, but we can't promise. So don't hold us to it. But please tuning in. This is probably a good way to get your significant others, also like your lady significant others most of the time, to introduce into the world of comics, because now we have ladies talking about comics. So, you know, bring them over, tune in together. It's going to be Sunday night. Just make yourself a cup of coffee, get cozy together on a bed or whatever, and then tune in to talk.
Then what?
For sexy suggestions.
Guys, I'm really sleepy, but anyway, just you know, just get yourself together with a cup of coffee, and then tune in to watch our show where we're gonna talk about hot topics for the day. But next week we're probably gonna discuss Hickman's Adventures. So if you haven't caught up yet, please try to, or you know, we're gonna talk about it more in depth. But so please tune in next time.
And before we sign off, let me just give a plug to our sponsor, InStockTrades.com, where you can get up to 50% off your collected editions. Sorry, I just got an offer on something I'm selling on eBay, so I looked at my phone for a sec.
How much offer you got? What are you selling?
I'm selling a Saga #1 CGC 9.8.
Oh.
I know. I'm gonna take this guy to the cleaners.
Oh, I wish I could get that. I mean, I don't have that much dough. This is the reason why. Anyway, what?
I'll fix you up with a copy. I only have about 20 copies of it, so it's fine.
Oh, really?
Yeah, wow. I'll fix you up with a copy.
You were smart.
Thank you.
Oh my God! Please do. Okay, all right then.
Where was I? In Stock Trades, up to 50% off your collected editions this week until midnight, July 28th. An extra 3% off due to the Omniboslive code. Comic Books for Kids, which is a charity that we support. That's the number 4 in there, Comic Books for Kids. You can go to their website, cb4k.org, and donate. They get comic books into the hands of sick children in hospitals, so they are a wonderful charity. In Stock Trades is supporting them through this promo code. Over $50 in the United States gets you free shipping, fabulous packaging, and the best customer service in the world. That's InStockTrades.com. And Bookshelf Bombshells, you guys did a great job tonight.
Thank you. Thank you for
Thank you.
having us. I mean, I'm just happy that the chat didn't exploded when we tried to talk about explosive topics.
I think that's because you approached it in a mature, normal, adult fashion.
What does that mean,
We've
even,
had good
Jeff?
ones.
I mean, I don't
How
even know
dare
what
you.
does that mean. How dare you?
Sorry
Like, I
to
mean,
sorry to give
what?
you the bad news, but you guys are mature adults and you discuss it in a nice way. So that's what you get. You get responsible people in the chat when you talk responsible, apparently. And something was wrong with my computer. I couldn't input any comments. People were asking me questions and I just couldn't input comments without signing off of the page and signing back in. I was afraid it was going to mess with the broadcast. So whoever's asked me a question, I apologize. I couldn't answer it because I was afraid it was going to mess with the broadcast. But yeah, Bookshelf Bombshells, good job. We will see you August 5th at what time? 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time? Is that what you think?
Yes.
Or you just...
Yes, I think
Sounds
that's
good.
what,
Yep.
yeah, that works for all of us. So yeah, that will work.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
So get yourself a cup of hot chocolate, get cozy with your significant others, and then tune in to watch us talk about comics.
That is awesome advice. However, I will not let my wife anywhere near this chat because this chat would totally expose all my dark secrets. I know this chat. Not you guys. The chat I'm worried about. That's why she'll never be on the Valentine's Day show either. The chat would just lace into me.
Just hide the chat and but all right. Well, thank you so much. Have a good night.
Thank you guys. You guys did great as usual. So on behalf of Omnibros and the Bookshelf Bombshells, peace and love, peace and love.
Good night.